Hello, Matt of Blues, your source for all things Everton. I'm Jed Pelton, and I'm here today to talk about Everton's game against Fulham this weekend, welcoming Fulham to Hill Dickinson Stadium for the first time. It's a 3 o'clock kickoff on a Saturday, which I think is Everton's first at the new ground. Certainly the first I'll be going to anyway, but yeah, I believe it is the first, which is very strange. If a team who aren't playing in Europe to have to wait till early to mid-November for the first Saturday 3 o'clock game is pretty bizarre, I think it's fair to say, but here we are. I'm looking forward to it. I think the 3 o'clock game's probably my favourite, certainly in terms of the routine and stuff, just getting down to the ground at what feels like a normal time. So I'm looking forward to it in that regard. In terms of the game though, I think it could be a tricky one. I think Fulham are 15th in the league at the moment. Not had the start of the season I think some people predicted they were going to have. Had a couple of strange transfers in the summer, ended up bringing Kevin towards the end of the window, right at the end of the window, should I say. He started in one game, that was against Wolves last time out, which obviously they won 3-0 against 10 players. But yeah, it just feel like the Fulham project is stalling a little bit, but they've always got lots of talent, so it's an interesting one to know where to go with it. Rumours are that Marcus Silva could be leaving at the end of the season when his contract expires. I think Forest very clearly wanted to try and get him in. Fulham want to keep him. I can see why. He's done a really, really, really good job there. But yeah, I think when looking from afar, Fulham, they just seem to struggle to take that next step and become like a top 10 Premier League side and then try and get back up to them European place. That's where obviously they were going back, 15, 16, 17 years ago under Roy Hodgson. But yeah, they've got some good players and they've got a pretty good record against Everton since they got back promoted to the Premier League in 2018. We've only won 3 matches against them. That was the first game, the 3-0 one, when I think Bernard scored. I think obviously Sigurdsson got a couple as well. Or got one, Toshin got one, Sigurdsson missed a pen. And then we beat them in lockdown when we had Ancelotti in charge. We beat the 3-2 at the Cottage. No fans there, of course, and they absolutely battered us, to be honest with you, in terms of we basically didn't do anything in the second half. They missed a pen that day. We won that game. And then the most recent meeting, 3-1 away there a little earlier in the calendar year. Mikhalenko got a goal, Beto and Michael Keane as well, I think. So that was a really good performance and result, not something I expected at all, and being totally honest with you, not just because of how poor the record's been, because at the end of the day, Marco Silva was our manager when we won that first game. He was our manager when we got beat at the Cottage desperately badly towards the end of that season when they'd already been relegated, I think. So that doesn't really have much of a bearing on how David Moyes' team's going to then do against Marco Silva's Fulham. But I think that adds to the kind of trepidation and the kind of worry. Everton are in a poor run of form at the moment. Fulham just ended a really poor run of, I think, 4 straight defeats in the league. They drew with Wickham in the cup, went through on penalties in between that. But then obviously beat Wolves. Great time to play Wolves, of course, just before they were sacking their manager, and they've been in dire straits all season. So yeah, this is, and again, no easy games in the Premier League. I think kind of timing and when games come around has a huge impact on the result and how the game can go. And I think Fulham will come to us full of confidence. They've just won that game. I look at their attacking plays and I think Wilson, Chukwueze, Kevin, Tom Kearney, Alex Iwobi, Emile Smith-Rowe, obviously Munoz, Raul Jimenez up front as well. They've got a lot of options and some really, really good and exciting players. Josh King's been one of the best youngsters in the Premier League this season. So any team that's got technically good attacking players and players who've got pace, like the Kevin, Chukwueze, King, they're the kind of players who can really hurt Everton. It feels like it has been like that for a very long time. Everton have felt very sluggish, and I feel like they've struggled against kind of pacey attacking talent. So let's see how we can manage against them. They've got a decent unit behind there, got a good goalkeeper, a couple of decent centre-backs. Bassey, a hit and miss, but I think overall he's a good player. I'd like to Sander Berger in there as well. So Fulham have got a good team. They've got a good squad, and you do think they will pick it up at some point. As I do feel like that project is maybe coming towards an end, but plenty of talent on show there. And as I say, they just won their most recent game. So yeah, I think from us, played Sunderland on Monday. Very disappointingly took only a point from a game that we really should have won. But at the end of the game, you kind of sat there thinking, well, probably was a decent point because Sunderland have been playing much better than we have recently. And second half, we offered basically nothing, and we still took a point from the game. So you try and take the positives, but I just sit here and hope before we know you're going to play on the weekend. Just really hope he sticks with Tierno Barry. I know he missed a really good chance against Sunderland, but as I was saying after the game, Beto had been missing chances all season and not playing particularly well. Barry's not been getting chances, but has been playing okay. I felt, at the start of the season, after 4 or 5 games, they hadn't scored. People were starting to talk about him, and I thought it was a bit odd because I felt like in all the games he played, he'd shown something. He'd shown he was growing into the team and into the role. And I just think if you just keep him on the pitch for 80, 85 minutes, something's going to fall his way if Everton are attacking and going forward, particularly at home. Dragging him off after half time is going to do his confidence no good. Dragging him off not long after half time on Monday is not going to do him much good either. He seems really, really gutted with that, and I can totally understand why. I think it's just, he's a young player. I don't think he's being managed particularly well, and the fellow who's coming on for him is doing less than him every single week, basically. Better took the best part of 20 minutes to touch the ball on Monday, and that's a real kind of damning indictment of where his form's at and where his head's at. So both strikers are clearly struggling, but I want to think about the player who's going to be here for the long term and the player who spent a lot of money on this summer. Tierno Parish, obviously the man, so I hope he plays. I'm sat there thinking I'd really like to see Adam Asnew play because Mikalenko again, subpar on Monday. I remember a game against Fulham a couple of years ago where he's letting Harry Wilson, best left foot in the Premier League, cut in every single time, and they eventually scored from one of them. So again, you're going to watch that again on Monday on Saturday, because I've just given up any hope that he's going to play on Asnew. I'd like to see James Garner start at right back, bring Jake O'Brien back into the centre. Keane very lucky not to give away a penalty on Monday. Tarkowski throwing another lazy leg out of the shot that's then flown in, and Rosana's only taking a point. So there's a number of issues in the team where you'd love to see him do at least a couple of them. He's not going to make wholesale changes, that, but you'd just like to see a couple of players moved around. It's very clear in the top end of the pitch that he doesn't fancy Dibbling. McNeil's had an absolute nothing season so far. Charles Alcaraz really struggled and tanked a couple of counter-attacks on Monday. Beto would say he's having an absolute nightmare period. So you're just hoping Leland Dyer's fit, he can start thinking on the right. Whether he wants to take a change in midfield, say bring Roll in or bring in Irabun and put Garner to right back, I'd be all for that. Just something a little bit different because it does feel really stale at the minute with Everton, which is such a shame. Because at the start of the season, you sat there thinking, well, things are looking very different. We've got Grealish and Jude Hall and Dye. Mixture between Beto and Barry, both got pace and power. What can they do with the ball when they get it? But it's kind of tanked, to say, the last few weeks. So I would love to see a couple of changes made, but I would love to see him stick with Tierno Barry, and I really hope we can get that goal, get that monkey off his back, and hopefully kickstart our season again, because it is in need of that. So, let me know your thoughts down below. What do you think about this new Fulham team? What do you think about the Everton starting 11 at the minute? What change would you make? Who do you want to see play on the weekend? Thanks so much. We'll see you next time. Next one.